Football is more than just a game. It's passion, emotion, sacrifice, and courage. Every player dreams of fame, of lifting trophies, and hearing the roar of thousands of fans chanting their name. But some players achieved something far greater. They defeated life itself. They faced challenges no athlete should ever endure: blindness, disease, deformity, tragedy, and still became heroes. Today, we're telling the incredible stories of footballers who defied the odds and proved that greatness doesn't come from perfection, but from perseverance. Let's start with Jorge Campos, a name every 90s football fan remembers. He wasn't just a goalkeeper. He was an entertainer. Standing only 5 feet 6 inches tall, Campos was considered far too short for the position. Critics mocked him, coaches doubted him, but he had one thing no one else did: confidence. He played like no other keeper in history. He'd run out of his box, dribble the ball, and even score goals himself. He designed his own kits, bright, neon-colored, and wild, just like his personality. But behind the flashy shirts was a man who revolutionized goalkeeping. Campos' playing style inspired FIFA to rethink the back pass rule, forever changing how goalkeepers could use their feet. He may not have been tall, but his legacy stands taller than most. Tim Howard's story is one of pure resilience. As a child, he was diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome, a condition that causes uncontrollable movements and sounds. Growing up, people laughed at him, teachers misunderstood him, and teammates often avoided him. But when Tim stepped onto the pitch, something magical happened. The noise stopped. The tics faded. Football became his medicine. He went on to become one of America's greatest goalkeepers, playing for Manchester United, Everton, and the US national team. During the 2014 World Cup, he made 15 saves in a single game against Belgium, a record-breaking performance that shocked the world. A man once defined by a disorder became defined by his courage. His story is proof that what seems like a weakness can become your greatest strength when you refuse to give up. Then there's Edgar Davids, the Dutch warrior. Known for his dreadlocks, fierce tackles, and iconic goggles, Davids was one of the toughest midfielders of his generation. But behind those goggles was a painful truth. He suffered from glaucoma, a serious eye condition that nearly blinded him. Doctors told him to stop playing or risk losing his sight completely. But Edgar wasn't built to quit. After surgery, he came back stronger than ever, wearing protective goggles that became a part of his identity. Fans began calling him the Pitbull, a fighter who never let fear control him. He played for some of the biggest clubs in the world, Juventus, Barcelona, and Ajax, and showed that true vision isn't about what you see with your eyes, but what you believe in your heart. Alex Sanchez's story is pure inspiration. Born without a right hand, he could have easily chosen another path. But football was his dream, and no physical limitation was going to stop him. He trained endlessly, learning to balance, dribble, and shoot using only one arm. His determination paid off when he made history as the first player with one hand to play professionally in La Liga. For Sanchez, football wasn't just a sport. It was proof that passion can overcome any obstacle. His story inspired millions of people around the world to believe that nothing is impossible if you refuse to let your circumstances define you. Next is Sebastian Haller, a man who faced a battle far more dangerous than any defender. In 2022, during his time with Borussia Dortmund, he was diagnosed with testicular cancer. His world came crashing down overnight. From scoring goals to hospital rooms, from stadium lights to chemotherapy sessions, it was a fight for survival. But Haller never lost hope. Just 6 months later, he returned to training and not long after, scored his first goal since his recovery. When he raised his arms to the sky that day, the entire football world cheered. That moment wasn't about football, it was about victory over life itself. Haller's comeback reminded everyone that true strength lies not in the body, but in the will to keep going. Adebayo Akinfenwa, known affectionately as the Beast, broke every stereotype in the book. Weighing over 100 kilograms, many said he was too big to play football. Coaches doubted him, Scouts ignored him, and fitness experts said he'd never make it. But Akinfenwa used his body as his weapon. His power, determination, and charisma made him a fan favorite wherever he went. He became a cult hero in the lower leagues of English football and used his platform to spread one message: believe in yourself, no matter what people say. The Beast wasn't just his nickname, it was his mindset. His journey showed that you don't have to fit the mold to achieve greatness. Sometimes, breaking it makes you unforgettable. Petr Cech's story is one of survival and bravery. In 2006, while playing for Chelsea, he suffered a horrifying skull fracture after a collision during a match. Doctors said he was lucky to be alive. For months, he fought through pain and trauma, unsure if he would ever return to the pitch. But Cech refused to give up. When he finally came back, he wore a protective black helmet that became his trademark. Many thought he'd lost his edge, but he went on to win multiple Premier League titles, FA Cups, and even the Champions League. The helmet wasn't a symbol of weakness, it was a symbol of resilience. It represented a man who faced death and came back stronger than ever. Gordon Banks, England's legendary goalkeeper, is remembered for one of the greatest saves in football history, stopping Pel's powerful header in the 1970 World Cup. But what many don't know is that years later, Banks lost sight in one eye due to a tragic car accident. For any goalkeeper, that should have been the end. But Banks continued to coach, inspire, and live for the game he loved. Even with half his vision gone, his insight and passion for football remained crystal clear. His story stands as a testament to how true greatness never fades, even when the light begins to dim. And then there's Bobby Charlton, a symbol of strength, tragedy, and redemption. In 1958, a plane carrying Manchester United's team crashed in Munich, killing 23 people, including several of his closest friends and teammates. Charlton survived, but the emotional scars ran deep. He could have quit the game forever, but instead, he chose to honor their memory by continuing their dream. He rebuilt Manchester United from the ashes, led England to World Cup glory in 1966, and won the Ballon d'Or. Bobby Charlton's life was more than football. It was a lesson in how pain can create purpose, and how love for the game can heal even the deepest wounds. These players remind us that football isn't just about goals, trophies, or fame. It's about the heart behind every kick, the courage behind every save, and the will to rise when the world counts you out. From blindness and illness to tragedy and survival, these heroes proved that limits exist only if you believe they do. They showed the world that no matter how dark the path becomes, passion can light the way forward. These are not just footballers, they are warriors, survivors, and living legends who proved that the human spirit is the most powerful force in the game.